Presentation. This machine is designed and built to accurately harvest and chop several types of forage crops planted in row or broadcast, such as corn, sorghum, grass, sugar cane, oats and similars, producing excellent cut forage for ensiling and fresh feeding of animals. Packaging and shipment. For the Brazilian market, this machine is shipped semi-assembled, without packaging, and for export it is packaged in a wooden box. For unloading in the case of Brazilian market, it must be done with a winch or crane, through the appropriate lifting points, and in the case of exports, unload with the aid of a forklift. Machine lifting points. To lift the unpacked machine, a winch with appropriate capacity to the machine weight must be used. In this case, always lift the machine at the indicated lifting points. Safety measures. In the development of the design, fixed safety protections have been adopted in hazardous areas of operation. All guards are fully shielded to prevent access to risky points. This measure aims to guarantee protection to operators and other people involved with the operation of this machine. Header cover. Protection developed to prevent contact with the chain and other rotating components of the transmission, shafts, wheels, gears, etc., during the operation of the machine. Safety protection for shaft ends of the gearboxes. Developed to prevent contact with moving shaft ends. Air inlet openings. The air inlet openings have been designed in accordance with safety standards to prevent contact with the rotor during the operation of the machine. Its dimensions prevent the fingers from passing through the holes and reaching the rotor. Cardan shafts safety protections. Designed to prevent any contact with the cardan shaft during operation. Existing operational risks. Even with the use of appropriate features and built-in safety protections, some residual risks remain while using this machine. This is due to some functional components such as feeding drums and their knives need to be partially exposed for the correct operation of the machine. Never feed the machine manually. Never try to clean or remove remainings of crop from the machine while it is running. Never get on the machine during its operation. Never stand in the direction of the chopped product jet when the machine is harvesting. Do not stand between machine and tractor during the coupling. Do not transport the machine with the outlet chute lifted. Do not attempt to sharpen the rotor knives without proper eye protection. Never approach your legs or feet on the feeding drums while the machine is working. Hydraulic cylinder, deflector. Deflector. Hydraulic cylinder, outlet turn. Outlet chute. Protective cover. Coupling arm. Toolbox. Rotor. Sharpener. JF 1000 AT header gearbox. Central aligner. Feeding drums. Bender. Drum knives. PTO gearbox. Rotor gearbox. Cardan shaft between gearboxes. Support stand. Hitch. Serial number and instruction manual. The machine is identified with a serial number noted on the label located on the rear side, next to the rotor air intake openings and on the feeding drum protection. The instruction manual is located at the rear of the machine, above the rotor housing, inside the plastic box. Items included in the machine. Bender. Bends the crop to facilitate the feeding. PTO cardan shaft. Transfers rotation and power from the tractor to the machine. Toolbox and additional items, located next to PTO gearbox. C3 and C5, C14 and C18 cutting gears. Pin punch. 5 special safety pins. Pinion roll pin. Semi-hydraulic deflector spring. Sharpener's rod. Reverse key rod. Items included in the machine: header, Z30 sprockets, Z20 sprockets, Z11 sprocket, machine support chain, flat blades, right, left, and interchangeable. Wide blades. Narrow blades. Support chain pin. Machine. Support chain pin. Tractor. Transmission chain links. Hexagon nuts and bolts for securing the aligners and bender. Support chain pin cotters. Tractor. Cotter pin of the support chain. Machine. Tractor and required power. The choice of tractor should take into account the hydraulic system lifting capacity and the power required by the machine. It is recommended to use a Category 2 tractor, with power from 65 to 95 horsepower in the power takeoff, at 540 revolutions per minute, double clutch with independent drive, PTO and engine. The correct relationship between tractor size and machine weight ensures safety during braking and maneuvering. Mounting the aligners. In order to gain space and facilitate transportation, some components are supplied disassembled from the machine. Note that the aligners are different, one is tilted, and the other is straight. Fit the tilted aligner on the outside of the head. Fit the straight aligner on the inside of the head. Fasten the two aligners with the hex bolts E, without tightening the nuts for now. Fit the bender to the aligners. Secure the aligning arch with hexagon bolts G, and the corresponding nuts. Note that the bender has several holes that allow it to be mounted in different positions. Adjust to the position that best fits the crop. Remember that the higher the crop, the higher the bender must be positioned, and vice versa. Insert and tighten the two nuts F, fixing the two aligners. Tractor coupling. Choose a flat location for coupling the machine to the tractor, and keep alert when you perform this operation. Approximate the tractor to the machine, aligning the tractor power takeoff to the machine's drive shaft. Initiate coupling by left arm, A. With the hitch pin, couple the tractor hydraulic arm to the machine's hitch, not forgetting the respective safety cotter pin. Then, couple the right arm B, with the hitch pin, and make sure that the safety cotter pin is inserted. Finally, couple the top link C of the tractor to the hitch of the machine, with the hitch pin and its respective safety cotter pin. If necessary, adjust the length of the top link by turning it. Cross-leveling. Raise the machine approximately 20 cm from the ground, and retract the support stand, looking at the machine from behind. Check if it is leveled. If not, lower the machine and make the necessary adjustments using the tractor's arms. After adjustments, raise the machine and check the leveling. Longitudinal leveling. By looking at the machine from the side, make sure it is leveled. Make corrections by adjusting the length of the top link of the hydraulic lift. Secure one of the stabilizing chain edges to the coupling hole of top link on the tractor, and the other edge to the coupling point in the machine. After coupling, make sure there is sufficient clearance between the tractor rear tire and the machine. PTO cardan shaft. Depending on the tractor used, it may be necessary to adjust the length of the cardan shaft. Check and if necessary, cut the shaft, proceeding as described below. Activate the hydraulic system and place the machine shaft in at height, then the tractor power takeoff. Separate the two cardan shaft parts, male and female. Couple the solid shaft, male side, onto the harvester, and the tubular one, female side, onto the tractor. Place the two parts, male and female, parallel to each other. In this position, there must be a maximum clearance of 30 mm. Mark the places where the cuts will be made, leaving the indicated clearance. Remove the cardan shaft and cut the bars. The cut pieces of the bars and the plastic protection of the cardan shaft should have the same length. Cut the two bars of the shaft. Using a file, finish the cut parts. After cutting and finishing, fit the bars. Special attention must be paid to the cutting and fitting of square profile. For the fitting of the male and female parts, the yokes must be aligned as shown above. How to attach the cardan shaft. Couple the male side on the machine, and the female side on the tractor. After placing the cardan shaft, secure its chains at fixed points on the machine and the tractor, so that they are well secured and allow articulation in any working and transport condition. Connecting the hydraulic hoses to the tractor. Remove protective caps R from valves and hoses. Couple the hoses onto the valves from the tractor's remote control, pushing firmly. The valve controls the oil flow. It is important to regulate the opening of this valve in order to obtain a smooth movement of the cylinder. The ideal adjustment depends on the flow of the tractor's hydraulic system used. Semi-hydraulic outlet chute. Although the harvester is delivered with a fully hydraulic chute, the manual adjustment of the deflector is included with the machine, making it semi-hydraulic. If necessary, follow the steps for such installation. Install the steel cable for adjustment of the deflector through the outlet chute. Remove the hydraulic cylinder, and install the deflector spring, connecting the mechanical drive steel cable. Attach the lever to the tractor, in a location easily accessible to the operator. Place the chute in working position. To make transportation easier, the machine is supplied with the outlet chute in the transport position. Lowered. To place it in the working position, proceed as follows. First, remove the nut A to unlock the chute. Connect the deflector to the hydraulic cylinder, using the bolt P. Carefully raise the outlet chute. Fix the chute in working position, fit the lock and pull the lever down. It is important to lock the lever with enough pressure to prevent loosening and dropping of the chute during operation or transportation. If the locking pressure is insufficient, loosen the lock nut C, and increase the pressure by tightening the nut D. After adjusting, retighten the lock nut C. Chute in work position. Central aligner. The function of the central aligner T is to prevent the loss of corncob or sorghum bunches during the harvesting of the plants. It should only be used for corn or sorghum crops. In other cultures, you must remove it from the head. To remove it, remove the 2 screws that secure the central tray to the support. Theoretical length of cut. Different cutting sizes can be changed according to the pair of gears used, and the number of chopper rotor knives. Possible sizes range from 2 to a maximum of 36 mm. The chopped size table can be found in the manual machine instructions. Always refer to this table to choose the pair of gears that should be mounted to obtain the desired chopped size, according to the number of rotor knives. How to change the chopped size. Loosen bolt P, and remove the sharpener cover. Remove the bolts A. Remove the protective cover. Loosen the tensioner bolt C. Loosen the chain and remove the bolts E. Remove the sprockets, and the chain. Remove the gears and choose the replacement gear pair, to obtain the desired chop size, according to the chart of cuts, located on the machine or in the machine's instruction manual. Access the machine toolbox, where it contains the spare gear pairs, by removing the knob and bolt P. Remove the desired additional pair of gears for exchange, 3 and 18. Place the chosen pair of gears. With this pair of gears, we will get 9 mm chop size for 12 knife rotor. Before replacing the chain, we must check the leveling between the sprockets. Proceed as follows. Place a metal ruler over the sprockets and check the level between them, based on the chain tensioner gear. We can see that the smaller sprocket is taller than the larger sprocket. In this case, it is recommended to proceed with the leveling between them. Note that the sprocket from the tensioner is also higher than the larger sprocket. The leveling between them must also be carried out. To do so, we must remove or include shims. In this case, we will add some shims on the smaller sprocket, and recheck the leveling. Leveled sprockets. Note now that both gears are leveled, not causing excessive effort or premature wear of the chain. Alignment complete. Remove the largest sprocket for chain reassembly. Replace the chain. Replace the unused, spare, shim washers, and retighten the respective retaining bolts. Retighten the chain tensioner bolt, checking its tension. Replace the protective cover bolt spacers. Replace the protective cover. Insert and retighten the fixing bolts. Replace the sharpener cover. Retighten the fixing bolts. Rotor knives. How to replace and change number of knives. The chopping rotor is sized to chop with 3, 4, 6 or 12 knives. The quantity used takes into account several aspects: product, purpose of the harvest, tractor power used, and desired chopping size. In this case, we observe the rotor with 12 knives. The machine leaves the factory prepared to harvest with 12 knives. If you want to harvest with 3, 4 or 6 knives, it is necessary to change the desired amount, according to the following guidelines. Remove the sharpener cover by removing the bolt F. Remove the 2 bolts A from the rotor cover. Open the rotor cover. Originally, the rotor comes from the factory with 12 knives, 6 launchers and 2 cleaners. From now on, we will illustrate how to change the configuration from a 12-knife rotor to a 6-knife rotor. Rotor with 12 knives. The knives to be removed will always be those positioned behind the launcher. It is recommended to start the removal with the knife closest to the bolt E that fasten the rotor to the shaft. Lock the rotor before starting to remove the knives. Remove the bolts that secure the knife to the rotor. Remove the rotor knife. Whenever removing a knife from the rotor in order to be used with 6 or less knives, we must replace the knife bottom bolt with the hex blot grade 10.9, full thread, M12, pitch 1.5 and length of 45 or 50 mm, thus ensuring the fixation of the rotor to the disc. Important. Always remove knives positioned behind the launchers. Remove the other knives. Rotor setup with 6 knives. Summary of rotor configurations. After the rotor has been reconfigured, close and screw the housing cover. Replace the sharpener cover and tighten its bolts. Kernel processing. Pró System. The Pró System was developed to process the grains, aiming to enhance the nutritional value of maize and sorghum silages. The Pró is composed of a curved plate with round and oblong holes, built in special high-resistance steel. The high-speed rotor throws the chopped material against the processor. When it hits the holes, the particles break up, which provides greater starch digestibility. The machine comes from the factory with a smooth bottom installed for harvesting grass and sugarcane. Use Pró to harvest corn or sorghum. How to replace the smooth plate by the Pró. Remove the sharpener cover by removing the bolt A. Remove the 2 bolts B, and open the machine cover. Remove bolts D, which secure the smooth plate. Rotate the rotor and remove the smooth plate E from the machine. Put the Pró kernel processor. Attach the kernel processor to the housing with the same bolts and nuts D that fixed the smooth plate previously. Pró processor correctly installed. Close the housing cover and retighten the fixing bolts. Replace the sharpener cover and retighten the bolt. Speed of the feeding drums. Your machine leaves the factory with the adjustment that best suits most crops. If necessary, you can test different speeds to find the one that best suits the product being harvested. Change the speed of the drums. To change the speed of the drums, start by removing the sharpener cover. Remove the gear protection cover. Loosen the tensioner bolt C. Remove the sprocket bolts for replacement. Remove the pair of sprockets and gears in order to choose a new set according to the chop size options and respective speeds of the drums available. For this case, gear option 8 and 11 will be chosen. For this option of cut size gears, we chose Z16 and Z25 sprockets for drum speed. Other speed options are available in the tables contained in the machine's instruction manual. Only use the sprocket combinations indicated in the drum speed tables. The use of unsuitable combinations will damage the platform and void the warranty. After placing the sets, check again the leveling of the sprockets with the chain tensioner. Replace the chain. For some sprocket options, chain length adjustment may be required. Remember that separate links for the chain are included in the machine. Replace the unused, spare, shim washers and retighten the respective retaining bolts. Retighten the chain tensioner bolt, checking its tension. Replace the protective cover bolt spacers. Insert and retighten the fixing bolts. Replace the sharpener cover. Blades of the feeding drums. The harvester comes with 3 blades mounted on each feeding drum. Each feeding drum contains 1 wide blade and 2 narrow blades. This arrangement is indicated for most crops and harvesting conditions. Crops with hard and thick stems, only narrow blades can be used on both feeding drums. There is 3 narrow blades on each feeding drum. Crops with soft and fine stems. You can use only the wide blades on the 2 feeding drums. There is 3 wide blades on each feeding drum. To replace the blades, proceed as follows. Loosen bolt P, and remove the sharpener cover. Remove the bolts A. Remove the protective cover. Loosen the tensioner bolt C. Loosen the chain and remove the bolts E. Remove the sprockets and the chain. Remove the cut size gear located below the smaller sprocket. In this way, the feeding drums will be able to rotate freely, facilitating the replacement of the blades. Before replacing the blades, which will require manual movement of the drums, replace the protective cover as a safety procedure. Access the machine from the front. Header, losing the blades one by one, manually rotating the drums. Considering that each drum has 6 plates, previously drilled, we must assemble the interspersed blades, that is, plate yes, plate no, summing up 3 blades per drum and respecting the previously mentioned settings. Start assembling the blades using the plates indicated above. Considering that we have 2 types of wide blades, the mounting position must meet the following criteria. Always bolted on the front face of the plate, even because on the back, this is not possible, due to its support. The longer corner of the blade must always be down. Sharp edge of the cutting edge always in the direction of rotation of the drum. For narrow blades, the mounting position must meet the following criteria. Always bolted on the front face of the plate, even because on the back, this is not possible, due to its support. Sharp edge of the cutting edge always in the direction of rotation of the drum. Remembering that the narrow blades are the same, we can mount them on any of the drums, as long as the mentioned criteria are respected. Before starting the operation, check carefully that the drums are fixed and that there are no loose blade on them. Check the condition of the knives, including sharpening. Make sure the sharpener stone is in good condition. Make sure the cardan shaft is properly locked in the machine shaft, and in the power takeoff of the tractor. Check that there are no leaks in the hydraulic hoses of the machine components. Preventive test. Before starting to work, perform a preventive test as follows. Lift and lock the outlet chute. Turn on the tractor. Raise the machine to the desired cutting height, respecting the maximum allowable angle for the cardan shaft, 15 degrees. Turn the tractor power takeoff slowly, wait for the system to fully run, and then slowly accelerate the tractor until it reaches 540 revolutions per minute on the PTO shaft. Observe the operation of the machine for a few seconds. Rotate the chute in order to position it in the direction of the silage transport truck. Adjust the direction of the jet, with the help of the deflector. Once these procedures have been completed, the machine is ready for harvesting. Choose a flat location to uncouple the machine from the tractor. Lower the machine support stand. Set the parking brake, lower the machine to the ground, and finally, turn off the tractor. Before disconnecting the hoses, it is necessary to relieve the system pressure. Quickly disconnect hoses for minimal oil loss, then replace protective caps on hose couplings and tractor valves. Remove the safety chains and uncouple the cardan shaft. Start uncoupling the machine from the third point of the tractor. Then uncouple the hydraulic arms, right and left. Machine cleaning, unblocking. In case of blocking of harvester, unblock the feeding drums using the reverse key tool, supplied with the machine. To access the reverse key tool, open the toolbox, located on the machine arm. Remove the reverse key tool, that is bolted into the tractor coupling structure. Remove bolt E from the gearbox end axle protection cover. Fit the reverse key tool G to the gearbox shaft end. Using your hands, turn the reverse key tool in the counterclockwise direction. The feeding drums will rotate in the opposite direction to the working direction, expelling, throwing out, accumulated material into the platform. Rotate until all material is removed. General recommendations. Never operate the machine for extended periods indoors and without ventilation. The carbon monoxide expelled by the exhaust smoke from the tractor is highly toxic. Keep the maintenance area clean. Wet or oily floors are slippery and dangerous. Always park the machine in a flat location. Use tools in good condition when performing any service on the machine. When replacing bolts and nuts, use the same specification as the original. Always use the proper torque as specified in the torque chart in this manual. Before starting a hydraulic repair, relieve pressure on the system. Periodically tighten all fastening nuts and bolts, every 50 hours. When completing a maintenance procedure, make sure all safety guards are installed before operating the machine. The use of personal protective equipment, PPE, is mandatory during maintenance services on the machine. After the first 50 continuous working hours, it is essential to retighten all the fastening bolts on the machine. For a better view of the periodic maintenance table, see Machine Instruction Manual. How to articulate the gathering platform. The platform articulation allows access to internal components such as counter knives, smooth drum scraper, etc., facilitating adjustments and maintenance services. To articulate the platform, proceed as follows. Initially, lift the machine through the tractor hydraulics to a height of 10 cm from the ground, which will facilitate the articulation of the platform. Remove the sharpener cover by removing the fixing bolt. Remove the 3 bolts and the protective cover. Loosen the bolt of the tensioner C, and loosen the chain. Remove the bolts from the sprockets and remove them along with the chain. Remove the 2 cutting gears J. Remove the bottom of the transmission compartment. Remove the 2 bolts L. Remove the joint M. Loosen the tensioner and remove pin P. Carefully articulate the platform to the side. Uncoupling the JF 1000 AT header. For some maintenance operations, uncoupling the header will be recommended. To do so, follow the steps below. Remove the bolt and the sharpener cover. Remove the bolts and the cover. Loosen the chain tensioner. Remove the bolts from the sprockets. Remove the sprockets and the chain. Pull out the two cutting gears and remove the bottom of the transmission housing. Loosen the bolts and remove the bender. Loosen the bolts and remove the aligners. Loosen the 4 bolts and remove the right side access cover. Repeat the procedure on the left side, loosening the 4 bolts and removing the side cover. With the aid of a hydraulic winch, connect the chain to the header lifting points. Raise the header to a height where a support stand can be placed at the indicated point. Loosen T-bolt, left side. Loosen and remove bolt, A. Repeat the procedure loosening the right-hand side T-bolt. Repeat the procedure loosening the right-hand side T-bolt. Loosen and remove bolt, B. For safety, before uncoupling the header, place a support stand below the gearbox, in order to prevent the machine from tipping backwards. Through the side access, loosen the left inner bolt that secures the header to the harvester. Repeat the operation, removing the right inner bolt that secures the header to the harvester. With the aid of the hydraulic winch, lift and move the head in the opposite direction to the harvester, uncoupling it from the machine. Coupling the JF 1000 AT header. Insert the left and right inner bolts to attach and secure the header to the harvester. Important: check that there is no step between the header and the harvester, thus indicating a perfect fit. After the fit, tighten the internal bolts on the right and left sides of the header. Remove the support stand and place it under the header, as a form of safety, to fix the other bolts. Insert and tighten bolt B. Then retighten the T-bolt, right side. Repeat the procedure on the other side, inserting and tightening bolt A. Retighten T-bolt, left side. Once the coupling is complete, lower the header with the aid of the hydraulic winch. Sharpening the rotor knives. The sharpener incorporated into the harvester makes it possible to sharpen all the knives together, at the harvest site. Sharp knives consume less tractor power to chop the plants, reduce fuel consumption, and ensure the best cut quality. Remove the bolt and the sharpener cover. Remove the 3 bolts and the protective cover. Loosen the chain tensioner. Remove the bolts from the sprockets. Remove the sprockets and the chain. Remove the driving cut-size gear. Replace the cover before starting to sharpen. Position yourself beside the machine, using the PPEs required to perform this operation. Remove the sharpener rod T, located in the harvester toolbox. Screw the rod into the sharpener. Note that when the rod is threaded all the way in, it stops the stone's movement. Therefore, do not thread all the way, leaving a half-turn clearance to allow the stone to move. Turn on the tractor and activate the power takeoff until it reaches the working speed, 540 revolutions per minute in the PTO shaft. Carefully turn the adjusting nut F, to bring the stone closer to the knives, until the sparks begin. Using the rod, move the sharpener to the end of the tracks. Take a quick break and pull the sharpener back to the start of the tracks. Repeat the back and forth movement of the sharpener, making quick pauses at the beginning and end of the movement. Repeat the back and forth movement 4 times. Repeat this procedure until it stops sparking the rotor. Turn the nut back and move the stone away from the knives. After sharpening, Turn off the tractor and remove the key from the ignition. Check if the knives have been sharpened completely. Remove the rod T from the sharpener. Put away rod T in the toolbox. Replace the cut size gear and drive sprocket. Replace the drive chain with sprocket. Replace and tighten their respective bolts and finally tighten the chain. Replace the cover and fix it with the 3 bolts. Replace the sharpener cover and retighten its fixing bolt. In order to access the counter knife, it is first necessary to articulate the platform, proceeding as described in the previous chapter, 48 minutes e 50 seconds. Remove the 3 bolts N. Remove the scraper. Remove the 2 bolts P. Remove the counter knife M, and change the side, remembering that it has 4 lives. If all sides are already worn, replace it with a new one. To adjust the counter knife at this time, insert and move it, leaving a maximum clearance of 0.5 mm between the knives and the counter knife. Fix the counter knife again, by retightening the 2 bolts. Remove the 2 bolts, A, and open the rotor cover. With your hands, turn the rotor in the opposite direction to the working direction, for at least 1 complete turn, making sure that none of the knives hit the counter knife. Close the rotor cover by retightening its bolts. To adjust the scraper, replace it and leave it as far forward as possible, keeping its bolts still loose. Return the platform to the working position. When you return it, the scraper will be moved to the correct working position. Keep it in this position. Manually rotate the drums to confirm the scraper setting. Pivot the platform sideways again and definitively tighten the 3 scraper bolts. Finally, return the platform to the working position and replace the previously disassembled items. In previous models, S3 and previous, the only way to adjust the knife with the counter knife is by adjusting the rotor, bringing it closer to the counter knife as shown below. For adjustment through the rotor, first remove the knife that is in the direction of the rotor adjustment bolt. Using a wrench, loosen the 2 bolts that secure the rotor to the shaft. Tighten the front bolt of the rotor in order to move it towards the counter knife. Then tighten the back bolt to secure the rotor. With your hands, rotate the rotor one full turn, making sure none of the knives touch the counter knife. After adjustment, lock the rotor again to replace the knife. Replace the knife, tightening its fastening bolts on the rotor. Adjust the knife with the counter knife always after sharpening or at least once a day. Replacement of sharpener stone. In case of breakage, change the sharpening stone or when you find that it has lost its sharpening capacity. Remove the bolt and the sharpener cover. Remove the bolts and the cover. Loosen the chain tensioner. Remove the bolts from the sprockets. Remove the sprockets and the chain. Pull out the two cutting gears and remove the bottom of the transmission housing. Using an Allen key, remove the two bolts F. Remove the sharpener from the machine. Install a new stone set in the sharpener skirt, and reassemble all of its components. Always use original JF stones. Non-original stones can break during sharpening and cause an accident with personal injury and machine damage. Replace the sharpener in the machine following the reverse order of disassembly. Safety pins. The harvester is equipped with two safety pins located on the shafts of the cut-size gears. The function of these pins is to protect the machine in case of entry of any foreign matter or if an overload occurs during harvesting. When one of the safety pins breaks, the gathering platform stops working immediately even though the rotor continues to rotate. In case of breakage, replace it with another one of the same specification. Remove the bolt A, and the sharpener cover. Remove the bolts and the cover. Loosen the chain tensioner. Remove the bolts from the sprockets. Identify and remove the broken safety pin. Remove the sprockets and the chain. Pull out the two cutting gears and remove the bottom of the transmission housing. Using the pin punch found in the machine toolbox, remove the safety pin H that is broken. Generally, the pin that breaks is that of the shaft with the largest gear. In addition to the conventional pins, 5 more special safety pins, with greater hardness, are provided along with the machine. Insert the new special safety pin. Using a compression punch, or 2 hammers, rivet the pin ends, so that they are tightly mounted. After changing the pin, replace the bottom of the gearbox housing and the cut-size gears. Replace the sprockets, paying attention to the alignment between them, procedure already seen above. Replace the chain and tighten the sprocket bolts. Stretch the chain by tightening the chain tensioner. Replace the protective cover and tighten the 3 bolts. Replace the sharpener cover and tighten its bolts. Feeding drum knives. Each drum is equipped with 6 reversible knives. The good conditions of use of these knives guarantee better performance of the header and final silage quality. Check it periodically and replace worn or damaged knives. How to invert or change the drum knives. Remove the aligners by removing the bolts P. To remove the knives, loosen the 2 bolts, A, responsible for fixing them to the feeding drum. Since one of the sides is still not worn out and since the knives are reversible, 2 lives, we can reuse it by swapping it with the other drum. Considering that this knife that we are going to remove has a new opposite face, we can exchange it with the other drum. Replace the knife taken from the other drum for using the other side. Return the aligners to their places by tightening the fixing bolts. How to invert or replace the cleaners. The drums are equipped with 2 cleaners each. The function of these cleaners is to prevent the accumulation of crop underneath the drums. The cleaners are reversible. When one side is worn out, assemble it in the another drum, using its other side. To do this, proceed by removing the aligners through their bolts. With an Allen key, loosen and remove the bolt that holds the cleaner. If one of the sides is still not used, and as the cleaners are reversible, 2 lives, we can reuse it by exchanging it with the other drum. Replace the cleaner removed from the other drum for using the other side. Replacement and fixing of the outlet chute. To replace it, loosen the chute fixing bolts. Loosen the chute hydraulic hoses fixing bolts. Loosen the bolts and remove the piston from the outlet chute. Remove the chute. Replace it with a new one. Retighten the chute fixing the bolts with their respective washers. It is important to note that the correct position of the washers of the chute fixation bolts are with the sharp corner facing upwards, never downwards, in order to preserve the chute base. Replace the hoses and the hydraulic chute cylinder in their respective places, retightening properly. Chain adjustment. Inadequate chain tension may cause noise and premature wear. Check the slack every 50 hours of work or weekly. Make the adjustment whenever necessary. To adjust the chain, remove the sharpener cover. Remove the 3 bolts and the protective cover. Loosen the tensioner bolt A. Push the sprocket wheel against the chain, until it is tensioned. Check the tension of the chain. After adjusting the tension, retighten the bolt A. Replace the protective cover and tighten the 3 bolts. Replace the sharpener cover and tighten its bolts. Lubrication. Proper and regular lubrication is essential to ensure good machine performance and durability. The indicated intervals take into account its use under normal working conditions. In severe conditions, intervals should be reduced. Periodic inspections and the use of clean, quality lubricants are recommended. Grease lubrication. Grease nipples. Lubricate the grease points, A, from the chute turning every 8 hours of work or daily. Lubricate the grease points, B, of the gathering platform, every 8 hours of work or daily. Apply a light coat of chain oil, for example, Maxlub ND03 Bardol. If available, use special chain lubricant, spray grease. Lubricate every 40 hours of work. Lubricate the grease points, C, of the cardan shaft crosses, every 8 hours of work or daily. Lubricate the cardan shaft bars every 20 hours of work. Lubricate the grease points, C, of the cardan shaft crosses, every 8 hours of work or daily. Lubricate the cardan shaft bars every 20 hours of work. Lubrication of the feeding drum's gearbox. It is recommended when servicing the gearbox or at the end of each harvest. To do so, the old grease must be replaced with new grease. Box grease capacity 3 kg. Example: Lubrax LITH00. Lubrication of the gathering platform gears. During the season, lubricate the 3 grease points, C, every 8 hours or daily. When servicing the gearbox or at the end of each season, it is recommended to replace the old grease with new grease. Grease capacity 1.2 kg. Use lithium-based grease, NLGI2 classification. Example: Lubrax LITH2. Crown and pinion box lubrication. Lubricate the grease point, D, every 8 hours or daily. Oil lubrication, PTO gearbox. The first change must be made after a week or 50 hours of work. Other changes every 500 hours of work. For replacement, proceed as follows. Remove the breather plug. Place a suitable container to collect the oil that will drain from the gearbox. Remove the drain plug and allow the oil to drain completely. Replace the drain plug. Remove the level plug. Fill with the recommended oil, until the leak starts at the level hole. Replace the level plug. Replace and tighten the breather plug. Oil lubrication. Rotor gearbox. Repeat procedure for rotor gearbox. Daily cleaning. As important as preventive maintenance is the daily cleaning of the machine. Remove all crop residues from the machine, especially from the cutting header. Thoroughly wash the machine, drying any water that has accumulated. Do not use high-pressure machines for greater durability of hydraulic components. Annual overhaul. The annual machine overhaul should preferably be carried out by an authorized dealer. In addition to washing the machine completely, replace worn or damaged parts. Carry out general lubrication. Apply a thin layer of anti-corrosive oil on metal parts, retouch the paint of the parts where necessary and replace the damaged safety stickers.